Hello, welcome to Steve McDonald's Arts and Crafts, and today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing something for Halloween. Ooh. So I've got these moulds and they were really cheap. We're going to use what we take from these to finish off and make a sweetie bowl. I finished painting what I wanted to paint on, and now I've mixed up my resin. So I'm going to put the actual resin into the moulds using a pipette so I don't overfill in a lot of the areas, and also to ensure that where I need it, it will go. I'm going to carry on and do these, and then we'll come back to them when we need to demold them and move to the next stage. I finished making all the bits that I want to put onto the bowl, as you can see. So I've got different bits and pieces. Some I've made more three-dimensional by either sticking them in the shot glass while they were curing, so they cured like that, or where the skeleton hand comes in, I just put a little bit of tape over it. Now, I'm probably not going to use all the bugs and bats and things like that, but I wanted to have a nice selection ready for when I did want to use them, or in case I want to use them. I love how the pumpkins have come out, and the little skulls and the little ghosties. So now what I need to do is I need to make the bowl. So I'm going to make the bowl on this blue mat, but I'm not going to make it directly onto this blue mat because I'm going to use freeform really. So I'm going to be using silicone, and what I find is that silicone sometimes is a real pain in the bum to get off silicone mats. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on top of this first some of this cling film, or cling wrap, or saran wrap, or plastic wrap, or I don't know what else it's called. So that's completely covered now, and to allow that to stick onto there, it's really quite easy. I just take a bit of paper, I just rub it over the actual silicone mat, and what you'll find is with friction it will just stick on there like so. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my pen, and this is just a permanent marker, and I'm just going to draw a rough circle. As you can see, that is a rough circle. They do say the sign of a good artist is if be able to draw a perfect circle, and that looks more like a square. What I'm going to do is I'll let that dry, and then I'm going to go over it with my silicone. And this is the silicone that I'm going to use. You can use silicone in a gun, or I find this one quite easy to use, and I use it for lots of different things, bezels and things like that. Don't forget, I will link everything in the description below. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well, so you don't miss out on any of my future videos and experiments. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around this like so and get it on there, and then let it cure. So this is cured enough now for me to do my pouring, and I've got my resin mixed up, and what I'm going to do is for this I'm going to add a little bit of transparent red, and not too much. I don't want it too dark, but I do want it to have a colour to it. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to add quite a bit of this red glitter into it as well. I'm going to pour this inside of this circle like so, and let it find where it needs to find. And the other thing is I will need to keep an eye on this, because I want to get it to the point where it's soft enough to put on the actual shape that I'm going to use to turn it into a bowl, but it is not as so soft that it's just going to run off everywhere. I will be keeping an eye on this over the next few hours, ready, and then when I see it's ready, and there's no real set time for this, but when I see that it's ready, then I will actually put it over it. Well, I'm hoping this is ready now. When I touch it, it feels really firm. I think I may have left it too long, but we will have to wait and see. I'm just taking off the silicone, and this is the great thing about using silicone as opposed to hot glue. It does just pull straight off it doesn't leave really any mess whatsoever. I'm just going to put that to one side. And this is the actual bowl that I'm going to be putting it over. I've coated this in the cling film. So what I'm now going to do is I'm now going to put this over it like so. And then I'm just going to give this a little bit of a push down. I could have probably done this about an hour earlier actually. I'm going to take this plastic off it because I don't want it to restrict its movement. So what I've done is, I don't know if you can see, because this is quite dry, actually I'm quite okay with that. So what I've done is I could tape down and cure into the shape that I've actually taped it down into. I shouldn't have carried on watching television. I should have come out here an hour earlier. This has now been sitting here for 12 hours taped down. So I'm going to take the tape off. You can see how shiny that is on the outside and how glittery that is. So that's really good. Oh, and I am pleased with it on the inside. I mean, it was meant to be a uniform bowl, but it has come out really, really well. Oh, I love that. I think that's great. It's nice and firm now. It's not going to go anywhere, as you can see. I'm not doing anything with these edges at all. I want to keep them as they are. It sits nicely. It's got a nice base. So what I am going to do now is I'm going to put the decorations that we've got, so these things, in it, like so, and then also around it as well. So for instance, I'll probably put them there, put one there. There'll be skulls and all sorts. So I'm going to get up and decorate this. I've pulled all my shapes out and I've mixed up my 5-minute epoxy. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be popping some of these shapes around not only the edge, but also inside as well. So, and 5-minute epoxy does dry clear. So it's not going to show even if you burst it over the edge. So for instance, I'm going to put a bat there. Now, if you find that it's taking its time to dry, then it won't take longer than 5 minutes. And if you don't want it to be slipping around, so all you need to do is pop a bit of tape on it to stop it slipping off while it cures up. And it won't take long to cure up. That's why it's called 5-minute epoxy. So just pop it across like that where you want it. Hold it in place. And there you go. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. I'm going to do quite a random pattern of putting these on. I'll put some on the inside because you're going to see it on the inside, and I'm going to put some on the outside so people see it on the outside. I'm really loving it. Well, the bowl's all finished now. I'm really pleased with how it's come out. Everything's stuck on it nicely. I think it looks quite nice as a Halloween bowl, to be perfectly honest. Everything's stuck around the side that I wanted to have stuck. I'm really pleased with how sparkly it is, the size of it. I think candy sweets will go in this really well to give out to kids or just to have in the house. Everything's on there nice and solid. Nothing's going to move. I just think it's a nice bowl. I mean, you could do this for anything, for Halloween, Christmas, birthdays, anything that you wanted to. I just think it makes a change to make a bowl like this. So check out the video that's coming up next. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, click that subscribe button. Every subscriber is really welcome here, and that way you don't miss out on any of my videos coming up in the future. Also, check out the join button. For my membership, it really is appreciated. Every little bit helps, and there's lots of advantages and perks that go with that as well. And if you don't want to be a member, but you'd like to say a little thank you, then click the little Buy Me a Coffee tab in the description below, or that you can find at the top on my banner. It really does help me to keep this channel going. It really does help me to be able to buy all the different molds and different bits and pieces and the amount of resin that I use going forward. Hope you've enjoyed this project. I've really enjoyed it. Take care and enjoy your resin. Bye.